Hello, chat. We're gonna get started soon.
Hello, chat. What's going on?
We're gonna get going here. All right. Guess what game this song's from? You guys probably can't hear it yet. No, you can. It's an N64 game.
Is this song gonna get us demonetized like
Yeah,
the
probably.
other one you play like?
I mean, my first thought would be Mario Party 2.
That's a good guess. It's about as good as that.
That's too wild for that.
Is it sweep the table?
Yes.
Song?
Yes, sweep the table, sweep the board. It's Earthworm Jim 3D.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it Tommy Tallarico then?
I don't know if Tommy was responsible for this one. It doesn't say.
Careful. He might come for us.
He's been laying low ever since that, H-Bomber guy video. He hasn't said shit.
The music is credited to Jed Grimes Quacks Hoos.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. I love Grimes.
Yeah, that Grimes.
Yeah, Grimes Quacks.
Oh.
Okay, I think, you know what, let's bring up this. Well, everybody, we're gonna get started soon.
For the communists. That's what she said.
That's how she talks. Okay, looking good, sounding good. Let me frame up Mikey a little bit here.
I was born ready. Yeah. Like cowboy vibes.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to be a cowboy.
I don't want to be a pirate.
I don't want to be a pirate. You look like a pirate. Well, I want to be a pirate.
Okay.
That's a Kramer.
All right, looking good.
When he gets his eye hurt. All right, that's it.
Let me test the music. Let's see here.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now!
All right. And then let me tweet, and then we'll be good to go.
I got pumped for hardware acceleration. No, I can't go down.
Woody's Roundup.
Woody's Roundup. Bum, bum, boom, boom. Okay, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Mike, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, then we're going in 5.
Wait, do we have new mailbags stuff in the
4.
It's happening. Chill.
Okay.
3.
I'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Thank you.
2.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, should we not be expecting the Switch 2 before April? The Chibi Robo devs are crowdfunding a spiritual successor, and has Nintendo finally gone too far with its litigations? But first, Jeff, would you like to formally apologize for the horrible thing you said in the Bombcast about Europeans not drinking water?
Yes, of course. That's definitely the words I said. That was the whole sentence. Europeans have never drank water. They only drink Fanta and like orange
Wine.
zest. Yeah, lime. Olive
Not
oil.
lime, wine.
No, lime.
Wine.
No, I said lime. Olive oil. They drink a lot of olive oil.
I don't think they have limes in Europe.
Well, ever since they got them, they stopped drinking water. It's an invasive species.
It's an invasive. I don't think you can grow a lime in Europe.
Yeah, you know what? I'm doubling down. This is it. This is it now. This is the new. This is the new liquid death argument.
This is really problematic of you, but I can't stop you, I guess. How you doing, Jeff? I'm like, I got the big. I asked you and then moved on myself very quickly. I got the big trip next week to Germany, and I was like, I don't get anxious about the flight. I don't really care about that. I get a little anxious about being in someplace new for a whole week. And Dan is not helping. He's in our chat right now. He's just he literally can't sleep in England right now because there's no AC. And I know I'll be exactly the same if I have this problem. So
yeah, but it seems unlikely you're going to have. Well, okay, in the Airbnb in London or wherever the fuck that is. Yeah, you might be shit out of luck there. But you know what you do? Just buy a fan while you're there.
I was about to say, why didn't you should have bought a fan? I mean, you couldn't sleep last night. You had all day today. You should have bought it. Dan's like threatening to wake me up if I'm asleep and he can't sleep. No, absolute. Look, Dan, I have like punched very few people in my life. Please don't make
Dan
be
seems
one
like
of
the
them.
next target on that list for sure.
I don't want to punch Dan.
You don't
For
want
one
to.
thing, it won't be very powerful. We'll just kind of feel awkward about it.
It'll be kind of
won't
sad.
hurt him. It'll be sad.
He'll
No
feel
one
bad
will feel
for
good
you.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one will feel good about it. So, well, I mean,
You're going to be fine in
hope-
Germany. You're going to be fine.
yeah, you think the Germans appreciate AC?
I think the hotel that they're going to put you in will definitely have AC, especially if they know Americans are coming. But also, Germany's like the most like America out of any European country.
Are all the buildings in Germany newer because they all got bombed during the war, so they had to rebuild everything?
Sure. Yeah, that's why. It's a very industrialized nation. They have a ton of new buildings constantly. So, yeah, you'll be fine there.
London got bombed a lot too, though, but maybe they didn't get all of them.
I think that
Why
AC
am
is...
I doing this again? Why am I skirting the line?
You
Why
should have
am I
stuck to.
bringing
You
up-
should have just stuck to the lime thing and been like, I am sure they have never seen a lime in the entire continent. You should have done that. Did it?
Why? Wait. I don't think Dan knows that Germany bombed London during World War II. Okay, let's talk about Dan's foolishness.
Yeah.
instead,
Good job. Good
everybody.
there. There you go. You nailed it.
What a clown.
What a buffoon that guy is, and not us in any way.
No, absolutely not.
Europeans do drink less water. Come on. They like just give you water when you go to a restaurant here. They don't do that in Europe. And I don't know why Europeans
No.
are fucking fronting on this. Like, you guys know what it's like. Come on. Like you have to bother a waiter for a carafe of water. It comes out, it's room temperature. It sucks. And it's a nightmare because you're putting them out and they hate it.
You're right. And I've been charged for it too. Yeah, absolutely.
And here it's like, just please take some free giant glasses of water. Oh, you already have 2 beverages? Who cares? Here's some water anyhow. Like, it's just, it's different culture. Come on, get on our level.
Yeah, I mean, look, to them, they don't know. They don't understand how awash in water we are over here. So to them, like, of course we drink a normal amount of water, or water is just as plentiful. No, we have a whole culture of water over here.
It'll come back on me now.
Against, apparently.
No one will remember any of the things you said about who bombed who and who doesn't have limes. You're good now.
Yes. I mean, I was factually correct about who was bombing who, but because it's depicted in the beginning of the sequel to Disney's Peter Pan, Return to Neverland.
Right, of course, and that's where all of us learned that.
It
and then they're like,
scene.
Oh, we have to rebuild these buildings, but with AC? That's an open question.
Yeah, it would really annoy Dan Riker and Mike Minotti if we didn't, though. Jeff, we have some stuff to talk about regarding the video game company Nintendo. Would you like to discuss?
I mean, listen, I think that's why we're here.
All right. So developers were reportedly told not to expect Switch 2 to launch before April 2025. This is VGC writing about something according to GameIndustry.biz head Chris Dring, who discussed launch plans for Switch's successor on the publication's latest podcast, the latest publication being GamesIndustry.biz. Nintendo confirmed in May that it will announce its next console during its current fiscal year, which runs until March 31st, 2025. This is a quote now from Dring. No developer I've spoken to expects it to be launching this financial year. So again, that is ending March 31st.
Right.
In fact, they've been told not to expect it in the current financial year. A bunch of people I spoke to hope it's out in April or May time, still early next year, not late. I don't think any of us wants a late launch for Switch 2 because we all want a new Nintendo console. Everyone gets very excited for it, and we don't want that crunch of Grand Theft Auto 6 and Switch and all that kind of stuff on top of each other. Jeff, where are you kind of falling these days in terms of when you're expecting the Switch 2 to actually launch?
Yeah, I think it goes like this. Like, I think that at one point they probably were looking at this year, and then they're like, we're getting the games ready. Let's just do March. And then they're like, okay, not this financial year, but sometime in fiscal 2026 is what that will be. And they just say that to themselves. And that they let that stay on the table when they're having those discussions to be like, well, it could be April or May. But for me, it's so easy if I'm them to be like, April and May is a weird time to launch a console. At that point, it's just a few more months. So we could wait till the holidays. Why wouldn't we just launch it during the holidays? I think if it's not coming out this fiscal year by March 31st, I think that means it comes out the holiday of 2025, regardless of what anyone wants from the development side or anything like that. Nintendo's just not going to take into account the crunch of Grand Theft Auto 6.
No, I don't think they're going to worry about Grand Theft Auto 6. But I mean, they must be worried about waiting that long just in terms of not being able to release a whole lot of interesting software.
Yeah, I mean,
from now till then. Right?
They are.
There's something just holding on to, right? They got some Zelda ports and maybe some more Metroid ports, but otherwise, maybe a Fire Emblem remake, and maybe that is enough to tie them over a bit.
Yeah, and I think it's that you're right that they probably are worried about that, but I think it's also pretty easy for them to be like, half a year. It's not that long. It's just not that long. And so I think they will talk themselves into it. Now, it's not impossible it comes out in April and May, but wouldn't that be very shocking? Like if I told you a couple years ago that like to pick a time frame, I think there's like a 1% chance you would have picked April or May of 2025. Like it just at this point, it's like at that I get the sense that they would be like, hey, let's just go to the holidays.
Yeah, maybe I just really dislike the idea that we're not even less than a year away from the launch of the Switch 2.
I agree. It stinks.
Right now.
I hope it still comes out sooner rather than later. But that's me, and I just want a new Mario. So that's kind of what I'm rooting for.
Sure.
But I think that Nintendo will be more conservative than ever, and I think they are still like mostly happy with the way the Switch is selling, regardless of it not meeting expectations exactly. They had very high expectations.
Well, like they said, they're still going to, talk about the Switch 2 before the end of the current fiscal year, which I guess doesn't even have to be this year. That could be up until March 31st again. I sure hope we at least hear about it. I hope that we get some kind of idea of a launch window when they do talk about it. It's going to be interesting. I mean, do you think if it is all the way till next fall, next holiday season, we are going to see more of these things like the Zelda ports, like that Fire Emblem remake, and things of that ilk?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they will have to fill out the year. They will likely have some games that were coming for the Switch that they were holding on to or took a little bit longer than they expected, and maybe those are on the borderline of maybe those could be Switch 2 first year. I don't know how many games that they're going to release for the Switch after the Switch 2 is out. Like, in my mind, they probably do one or two, maybe. And I think the most likely scenario is they do basically 0 Nintendo first-party published games that are only on the Switch 1 after the Switch 2 comes out. Obviously, there's backward compatibility, not counting that. But I think that they probably do have a handful of these games that they could, kind of fill out a schedule with. That's not the ideal scenario that they want to be in. Clearly, they want to be having everyone very excited about a Switch 2 and rushing out to get these things and buying as many copies of these games as they possibly can and reselling us Breath of the Wild, however they're going to do that sort of thing. They would rather be there, but in the grand scheme of things, with how well this generation went, them having us wait an extra 6 months from March until September or whatever is just not that long. So, I think very easily we're going to end up in that situation.
I also just don't like how much it makes Metroid Prime 4 coming out for the Switch before the launch of the Switch 2.
That's going to be tasty. What is our bet for? I forget, like Margaritaville?
It's that. Oh, yeah. I'll take it to Margaritaville or something.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's
it'll be great.
Good time. Give me a Marg.
When we were there last time, somebody got kicked out of Margaritaville. I feel like you and Dan didn't even notice.
I didn't notice. You told me the whole story. It was happening behind us.
Right by our table, she was screaming expletives, and you two were just off in your own little world of, I don't know.
Of minding my own business. You're right. You got me.
Wow. I'm too good to, look at public
I love
drama.
that shit. I totally, if I would have noticed, I would have been so in that.
Oh, there's a Margaritaville in Japan. We can go to Japan then. It's gonna be safe.
Shoo.
Yeah, they don't let you drink water in Margaritaville.
No,
you get shamed unless it's
No.
liquid death.
Yeah.
Next story here from Gamatsu. After Nintendo's abandonment, Chibi Robo devs crowdfund next game Kurobo on Kickstarter and is almost fully funded. Tiny Wonder Studio, a new game development studio featuring key members from Chibi Robo series creators Skep Limited, have announced Kurobo, a new action-adventure game that follows a pint-sized robot named Kurobo and his owner, Tom. It's nice to see that there's kind of a spiritual successor coming for Kurobo. And it looks like a 3D platformer, which seems to be what people like these games. I know there was a 2D one that people did not seem quite as excited about. So this has $127,000 pledged of $135,000 ish goal on Kickstarter, which seems a little bit low for a 3D platform, but again, has some other sources, I suppose. And it's almost met that goal at least. I always feel bad. I haven't played Chibi Robo yet. I actually do have a copy of the GameCube version. That's the original, still the one people seem to
that's
talk
the
about the most.
Good one at this point, I think. Yes. I remember when this first got like announced before the Kickstarter started. We talked about this on Game S Mornings or somewhere, and it's good. At the time, I was worried that it's like it might come, and who knows if it'll meet its target. Now, I think you said they set their target pretty. Low. Pretty low, pretty conservatively as well. And still, the fact that people are showing up and do want this enough that they can meet that goal, hopefully they can even go beyond that. That's exciting. And it does make me also feel pretty guilty that I think I've definitely tried Chibi Robo, but I've never really played it. Feeling guilty about that. Might check that out. And because this is the kind of thing where like, yeah, you should definitely do that. And as someone who hasn't played Chibi Robo, it's kind of a poser stance to take, but whatever.
It's kind of weird because, I mean, there were like 4-ish Chibi Robo games. They're all published by Nintendo, right? Like, it's a Nintendo franchise. As far as Nintendo franchises with 4 entries, it's like, do people even remember to list it, right?
Yeah, probably not.
I think part of it is because that first game was kind of under the radar. It was on the GameCube. It didn't get a whole lot of press, but people like it. And the other ones just never seemed to be quite as well liked. I mean, one of them was an eShop game for the 3DS, and then Ziplash was the 2D one for 3DS. I think people generally didn't even really like much.
And they don't even really remember that one when you bring it up. Like, that one's like, oh, yeah, there was that 2D Ziplash one. It's kind of like, hey, Pikmin. Like, there's 5 Pikmin games. Like, wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah. There's a DS one, Park Patrol, that people seem to like. Okay. But even, that was 2007. That was just 2 years after the original, which was a late GameCube game. It was like, it came out 2006 for the GameCube in America. So that's part of the problem there, too.
Why is it about Jarek in chat saying play Chibi Robo with your wife in the room? Like, is there some suggestive stuff in there?
What?
I don't know.
Is it because of slots and stuff?
Oh, yeah, slots. Then make you go, ah. Yeah, whatever noise you made.
Let me see. 1 second.
Yep, go ahead.
I wish I was as fast as this. There we go. A lot of cords going into slots. There you go. Got nailed it.
I can tell you what I want from Chibi Robo. There it is. That's perfect.
It's about divorce?
Oh, okay. All these games about being little in a big room, and it's about divorce in the end. It Takes Two, it's a whole genre. I can tell you what I want from this game, and it is what the first one is. Little guy running around a house, plugging himself in to charge himself up, doing more stuff around the house. I don't need to be patrolling a park or lashing the zips. So just give me something like the first Chibi Robo.
It's a shame because I think it would have been good for Nintendo to have another franchise that is primarily about 3D platformers. Now it's good that like they finally did the 3D platformer Kirby game, and maybe some other franchises can make that turn again. But yeah, clearly there's not going to be any more Chibi Robo for Nintendo, so I'm glad that they're able to strike it out on their own.
Next Yoshi game should be 3D.
I think we actually have a super chat about Yoshi, so we can talk about that later. Next up here, it's from Softonic. Nintendo against sheet music. Their war against piracy has reached the point where even arrangements of their songs can't be made. In their crusade against supposedly copyright-protected derivative content, Nintendo has now launched an attack against something unexpected: the scores of their songs. More specifically, Nintendo has targeted Sheet Music Bros and Purple Shala, 2 YouTube channels that create sheet music for Nintendo songs. Before them, it was the website Music Notes, which then began removing their sheet music from the soundtracks of Super Mario, Pokemon, and Zelda, among other legendary sagas. The 3 sheet music channels have joined forces in an attempt to get Nintendo to reconsider their decision, especially considering that the arrangements had been licensed and the original artists received a percentage of the sales of the scores.
What?
It's important to note, moreover, that it's not as if Nintendo is making money from their exploitation. There are hundreds of scores that they intend to remove from the internet that are not available anywhere else. Man, I know you talked before about like it's like Nintendo's lawyers are just bored right now because they don't have that much to do. This like seems like that times 1,000. We're going after sheet music now.
Yep, and like, licensed or not, who, like, even if it was copyright infringement, like explicitly, which I guess I don't know what is exactly happening here. If it's licensed, but Nintendo's still asking them to take it down, or are they like just revoking the license? I don't know what's happening there. But either way, Nintendo's got to get over this. And Nintendo is worse about this sort of thing than a lot of other companies, where
Oh God, yeah.
where like a lot of people are like, hey, well, why aren't there like Nintendo songs streaming on Western services and stuff like that? It's because if Nintendo did that, then they would be under like the mechanical copyright license thing, where it's like if it plays on American radio or on American streaming services, then it is up for being covered, and you don't have like you can't stop it from being covered. People are allowed to cover it at that point. And yeah, there's rules for how much they have to give you, but you cannot stop it from being covered at that point. So the only way to get around that is to not release that music in the United States. So Nintendo is the one company that is so weird that they do that.
Right, but it's wrong. It's like, now they're not releasing anything and making money anyway. So you're not releasing something so that people don't
that
cover
just goes
it.
back to the lawyers
and
being
impact
like,
the sales of the thing you're not releasing. Like, what are you talking about?
Right, and that's why it's like it can't really be driven by someone making business decisions at the top. It is driven instead by a team of lawyers working around the clock 24 hours a day at Nintendo to find the next thing to go after, and that's what this always is from Nintendo. And they got to get the reins on that. Nothing can sort of spoil the feeling around a company than feeling like it's run by lawyers. And Nintendo is always drifting in that direction at all times.
Right. And I mean, my God, Mario, like sheet music. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Nintendo officially licensed a few sheet music books that can't be some significant moneymaker at all. Of all the things, the sheet music. Now we're talking about a small audience of people who know how to read sheet music and specifically care about the arrangements for these games. I mean, come on. There's absolutely zero money being lost on Nintendo's behalf. I don't want to hear like they have to protect the copyright or else blah blah blah. No, this is so small potatoes.
That's not how it works for copyright. That's only for trademark, and that does not apply here. That's trademark law where you have to actively go after it. Copyright is rock solid, never a question. You don't have to protect it. You always have the right to protect your copy and not allow others to produce copies of your work, regardless of how aggressive you are with this. So yeah, that's not an excuse either. It is just Nintendo being weird as always.
All right, Jeff, that's it for our top news topics today. We still got some super chats. We've got some mailbag stuff to get into. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll do all that.
Sounds good.
Brother, you don't understand. Nintendo's allowed to defend itself, goddammit.
I see you're proud of yourself for that one in chat.
Oh, man. No more team whistle for you, baby. You're a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I think I only know one Nintendo song that's like the start of F-Zero.
Stop.
That's it. That's all I got. They're coming for me. There's a red laser on my forehead now.
What are we doing next?
Super chats.
Super chats, then the mailbag.
I got them ready to go.
Yep, that's right.
Jump directly to the mailbag. Let's not do a... We're doing a break in the middle of the mailbag. All right.
Okay, we'll do that. We're back. I forgot I say that. And we're back. Jeff, would you please read some super chats for me?
I knew it was you were thinking it was supposed to be me saying it. I was just going to let you figure it out on your own. I'm glad you did. From Power Glover.
You know what it was when we started this, Dan in chat was shocked that I host this podcast. So it threw me off. I'm like, maybe I don't. Maybe he's right.
Okay, yeah, don't trust Dan about that sort of thing. Power Glover writes in, says, "Hey doggos, Jeff replied to my tweet earlier today regarding the Tenacious D scandal involving one Mike Minotti. I was told not to worry. Assuage me. He said a slur. And then he said, what was the other thing?
I talked about
what
I said people. I said some people drink too much water.
Yeah,
not most people.
And then that became Mike says don't drink water. That became the scandal as well.
I didn't okay, look, this isn't gonna be my thing that I accidentally say slurs. All right, it was a mistake. It was a little.
He hasn't apologized. Actually, I think he apologized right away. But
I apologized right away, and there.
Yeah, there you go.
This type of thing always happens when I'm not watching the stuff. I don't know what's going on. It's crazy.
You're not there to rein me in with your calm presence, with your rationality.
Like a lightning bolt.
No, people liked when I said fat ass white girl. I don't need to apologize.
That was a good time. Postman Dan said, "Here's your beef and cheddar treat for each of you. Enjoy. Also, Arrow GPX is out in early access, and you should play it. I have played it. It's pretty good.
Is that the F-Zero like?
It's the F-Zero one. It's been out in early access, I think, for a while, maybe. But I played it recently, a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was pretty good. It's one of the better one of these spiritual successors from an indie studio, definitely. Screaming Madden says, "Is it just me, or is Randy Pitchford just a character Brendan Fraser would play in a comedy film?" I can kind of see it.
Oh, that would be good casting, actually.
Yes, I would like that quite a bit. That'd be good.
I would absolutely, I would like that.
Him in Bedazzled, or whatever it was, where he was playing all those different characters because Satan was giving him... Never mind. I'm not going to recount the plot of Bedazzled to everybody listening to this podcast.
I just remember the scene where, like, he wanted a big dick, and he gave him too big of a dick at first, and it was a problem.
Yeah. He was a basketball player, and then, he had too big of a dick,
And then, like, they had a weird scene afterwards where they really zeroed in on how big the dick should be.
Right. It was a real problem. Right. Yeah.
I think that movie made me feel weird.
Yeah, I can tell. Big Fresh 37 says, "I really hope there's no water levels in the next Yoshi. Otherwise, we might have a wet ass Poochie."
Oh, a wop. This was the super chat about Yoshi that I thought we could then springboard into a serious conversation about if the next game was going to be a 3D platformer. maybe we won't.
Maybe that's not happening. No, instead we're going wet ass Poochie. All right.
Wait.
Yeah.
Well, oh, come on. That's the name of that song. That's not a slur. God damn it. How does it keep happening?
What are you? Hang on. Let me Google something real quick.
That's with an O.
Yeah, that's with an O.
Me.
Yeah, what wop as in WAP is all good.
Yes.
And yes. Mike, aren't you're allowed to say the other one. Yeah.
We prefer I feel okay saying Dago. I don't think I would like to say even that one.
I don't think you should say it. You just can, is all I'm saying.
I could. It'd be okay.
Exactly.
It'd be allowed.
As we just demonstrated.
Remember when Bailey called Luigi an Italian cuck or something?
Yes. The wailing Italian cuck. Yeah.
Wailing Italian cuck. I was going to say, wow, you sound like my last girlfriend.
Oh, I know. You said you were going to, and then that's why I cracked up once I put two and together about what you were going to say.
You knew what the joke was going to be.
Yeah, it was very good.
Put it on my tombstone.
Pixels and Thoughts is a new Lincoln member. Thank you so much, Pixels and Thoughts. That gets you access to the Discord and all the fun stuff inside the Discord. So you're podcast producer now. Feel free to join that and hang out with us. All right. Mr. Dub says, "Just want to thank you guys for carrying me through the week. Love you guys. Put this towards the Minotti bail fund." I don't think he's too much risk getting arrested. This is America. He's allowed to say all the hateful stuff he wants.
You're man. Look, I'm not doing it intentionally. Trust me, but you're right. I'm lucky I'm me. I get away with some things. Thank God.
L. Grug says, "Let's celebrate Mike's bravery for agreeing to go to Germany to look for Ridge Racer and refusing to return to Ohio until he finds it." Yeah, that's right. That's what you were saying to me. It's like, you're just not going to come back home until you find Ridge Racer, huh?
Yeah. I've got a big lead on Ridge Racer. It might be in Germany. I heard that it's a real big fan of Schnitzel and Spatzel and all the Zols.
All the Zols. Pretzels, even.
Zols. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm off to Germany. Also, some kind of video game convention. Who cares about that? But yeah. Gonna find Ridge Racer.
All right. Let's see here. Question mark 1910 says, "I feel like if the Switch 2 launches in fall 2025, every store will be about how no one can get it for Christmas and parents have to pay double to scalpers." Yeah, I mean, one of the things they keep saying is, or at least the reporting is that Nintendo wants to avoid as much of that as possible by having plenty of stock. This will give them even more time to make even more systems. But you're right. They'll still run into problems with that. So, yeah, that's going to happen no matter what. It's inevitable. If they release it in March, even, that would still happen by Christmas. Willow Davis says, "Jeff, you reviewed Chibi Robo." I'm not buying this one.
No, there's no way.
I was just out of high school back then. I was working at the FedEx warehouse. I didn't have time for reviews. Prenny Dude says, "With Tango saved, a hi-fi Switch port seems inevitable. But the real question is, does a hi-fi sequel come out on Xbox? Is this a Konami Kojima situation?"
It'd be kind of funny if they didn't, just to be cunty.
Right. Yeah, I don't think this is a Kojima Konami situation, but it would still be very cool if they didn't release it on Xbox. I think that'd be very funny. And yeah, I think there's honestly a chance that could happen. But you know who we can ask about this is Jez Gordon, who writes in, "What builds are you guys using in Diablo 4 this season?" I'm using a Juggalo build. I'm running with the hatchet. We're out there running deep, looking for my Juglets to help me out on my Diablo team.
He did that Fago buff.
I got my Fago buff. That's right. Yep.
Let's go.
Wow, you guys are so funny. I'm using a Necromancer minion build, Jez.
We were just watching the minions upstairs. So.
Oh, yeah. That'd be funny if I was summoning the actual.
Yeah, that's got to be a mod. Can you mod Diablo? Come on.
Yeah, it's a PC game, sure.
All right. Adam GC says, hooked up my Wii to play Sin and Punishment Star Successor. This game slaps. Mike, have fun setting up your sensor bar.
Yeah, at least since I'm setting up the Wii U and the Wii, like I go to the video game stores and I'm actually able to look at Wii and Wii U games now. I did pick up Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Oh, you got it. Okay, great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
brother.
Good shape.
Game rules.
It's so funny because I didn't play this back in the day because I didn't know what a Tatsunoko was, and I think I was just already kind of like a bit on the Wii, but I missed out. So I'm glad I picked this up now.
Sexy cover.
It's pretty good. You got Mega Man Volnut there. You got all these anime characters I don't know, but I'm sure they're nice. So yeah, it'll be fun. Sin and Punishment. Well, there's not many Wii games that I want, but Sin and Punishment is one I would like to grab. I'll tell you what, Wii U games, very cheap.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, there were so many Wiis that it turns out just about all those games sold enough that there's plenty of stock, and the sort of nostalgia has not quite hit the Wii yet. I think it's still coming from that generation, but
I guess I wonder, like, is it like in the next 5 years, is that going to suddenly hit?
It'll turn out. It's never going to be as high as the GameCube was. The GameCube is a special circumstance.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you want to collect Wii games, I would do it now. Oh, I need Wario Land Shake It.
Yeah.
Another one I want to get.
All right. And then Jez Gordon gifted 5 subs to the Game Mess crew out here. Thank you so much, Jez. I appreciate that.
See what happens when you have an honest and real answer for his question about Diablo 4?
Oh, okay. Well, you think that's why you did it? 'Cause, I'm pretty sure you did it before you said anything.
No, I was watching in real time. It happened right after I said the words Necromancer minion build.
Okay, that sounds right. If you got a gift sub from Jez in chat, be sure to say thank you. And if you are listening later, this is the kind of stuff that can happen if you're listening live. So feel free to tune in the future here on youtube.com/@JeffreyGrubb. Mike, that does it for the super chats for now. I'm handing the show back over to you.
All right. Well, don't get too comfortable, Jeff, because you need to sharpen your teeth. You need to get your little paws moving because the mailman is driving by right now. I need you to attack and get me some letters. Good boy. Go.
Pitter patter. Okay.
Got to leave some for next time. All right.
Sure.
Thank you. Good boy.
Took a chunk out of him.
Thank you. Always be clothing. Writes in saying, Dear Jeff, Janseled Grubb, and Mike, a double Janseled Minotti. How mad were you when Mike threw you under the bus, and how will Mike avoid being Janseled in Germany? Oh, I can't get canceled in Germany.
No.
You know what they did? They're still going.
Yeah, you should walk around saying that.
That'll be a big hit, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll really enjoy that one.
Like, what, and you're American? Oh, yeah, but Italian lineage. Oh, okay. All right, well, we're buddies then.
Dan just wrote in chat, there's a whole dog theme on this podcast.
Quick guy, that guy. Yeah, very clever.
Yeah. Can't get one past
No way.
boy.
Absolutely not.
Chaos Buckaroo says, play one, display one, break one with a hammer. The new style NES, I assume they mean the top loader. The new style SNES, and the Genesis Model 2. Interesting.
Isn't there issues with the Genesis Model 2? Like,
is there?
I thought with the sound processing, but maybe not.
There's something like that. It does sound a little bit different. I mean, I think I forget if it's bad or it's just up to preference. Let's go aesthetically.
Okay. In that case, I would probably display the Genesis Model 2. I would play the NES top loader, and I would break this new style SNES.
I would absolutely also break the new style SNES. I do not like that.
Yeah, it's an abomination.
Yeah, I think with all these, I prefer the design of the original. The top loader is nice. Also, the top loader is functionally better than the toaster.
Yes, it was more reliable too.
But part of me is like, oh, I'll play that then. But I don't necessarily love the way the Model 2 looks. It looks fine, I guess. I'll do the same thing you did. I'll play the top loader. I'll display the Model 2, and I'll destroy the new SNES.
Huh. The thing is just on fandom is called New Style Super NES. Is that the official name for these things?
I was
Weird.
about to say, it must have been the name for one of these things. I wonder if is that the official name for the top loader also? It might be.
It might be. Yeah, I'd have to look, but yeah.
The Model 2 is much better than the Model 3, by the way. The Model 3 is kind of stupid looking. It had like a real weird font on it for Genesis. So.
I wonder if I have admin controls for fandom, if I can go in there and remove this fourth generation bullshit.
You were on my team in terms of the color scheme for Super Nintendo, right? You were on
100%. It's not even a team. It's just right. Like it's what we grew up with. It's beautiful. People are afraid of purple, and I get it. You're insecure.
Not me.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. Michael Riley says, "Hello, boys. Jeff's talked about holding his firstborn and playing Breath of the Wild. I had the pleasure of doing that with my firstborn daughter in Tears of the Kingdom. My son is due in January. What should I play while holding him? Doom, so he becomes an absolute Sigma."
You'll have less time for gaming with the second one. That's how it goes a little bit. The first one, they just lay there and they're blob, but now you're juggling two. A little bit less time, but I did beat Genichiro and Sekiro with while holding Addie when she was very young. So yeah, play Sekiro. There you go.
There you go.
That's a good one. Doom's also pretty good.
Low pressure game.
Yeah, exactly.
Weisman says, "Hey yo, doggos, with the Nintendo Direct imminent and the Switch 2 launch lineup likely to be revealed, besides the next mainline Mario, what are your big hopes for games?" I mean, so there are talks of a new Direct happening, although it seems like it might just be one of those, it's about one game and it's very short Directs. So about something like Brothership. I don't think that a Direct talking about the Switch 2, let alone its launch lineup, is really on the horizon.
That doesn't happen this year. I think we get a trailer outside of a Direct. A Direct talking about the Switch 2 doesn't happen until 2025.
But, to still answer the question here, like, what are your big hopes for the Switch 2 launch outside of the next Mario?
I mean, it's the list of stuff that, like, we could very easily be like, well, there's probably going to be a new Mario Kart and all that stuff. And yeah, I definitely want that. I like Mario Kart a lot. We've played a lot of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe over the years, and it's held up very well because it is probably the best karting game that's been made. But I want a new one. But really, I think what I want something maybe a little bit more out of left field. I tell you, okay, my personal real hope is Next Level's next game is a new Punch-Out that launches with the Switch 2. I think that'd be a good launch game for the Switch 2 because it's one that can then sell throughout the entire generation. And so pressure could be a little bit lower on it. People might check it out, be more willing to check it out because it will be one of very few games that take advantage of the Switch 2 at that time. That would be awesome. I think Next Level should get another crack at that. They killed it with the Wii one. I would love that.
I hope that maybe we get a franchise returning, and not like some big thing that would be a huge investment, but like a new Excite Bikes, a new Wave Race, right? Something like that would be good for launch.
That would be, yes. I would lose my mind if we got any of the extreme sports games back at all. Wave Race especially, I think. The GameCube ones just didn't hit very hard. So if they can get back to that feeling of the N64 ones, that'd be great.
Jump Matt says, "You've said a handheld screen doesn't need to be better than 720p, but will the Switch 2 itself be able to run games at 1080 in handheld mode? Watching a video on a 480 screen looks way better." Excuse me, when you set it at 1080p resolution, I assume the same would apply here.
Yeah. I mean, all that stuff you're saying generally is going to be probably how some instances work. Like most games will probably try to render at 720p, and they will up-res for a 1080p screen if that's what it is. And on that small of a screen, you're probably not going to notice much of a difference about what you're talking about with like 480p content on 1080p looking really good compared to up-resing some other resolution that doesn't fit perfectly into 1080p. But I think there will be some games that try to run at 1080p, but they'll be smart if most of them keep it at 720p. I mean, I just can't, I don't know how people can look at the Steam Deck and be like, we need more than this, because that thing's 800p, but it's 16 by 10, so it's basically a 720p screen. Everything looks so good on there. And on mobile, I've talked about this before, those screens are way higher than 1080p a lot of times, and very rarely does any developer render a game at higher than 720p because it just wastes battery and you don't notice it.
Gerbear says, going back to an old favorite here, does the intro to John Cafferty's Hearts on Fire from the Rocky IV soundtrack, more specifically from the 12-second mark to just as lyrics kick in, have Castlevania vibes? This is the kind of siren-y part of the song,
Right.
Kind of I don't know. I always got more Ghostbuster vibes than anything from it, to be honest.
Okay. Actually, no. Okay, so I'm listening to it, and I can't. We're not going to play it because, well, maybe we could put it. Christian, you want to put it in the RSS version because there's no laws in RSS. But it's
They're always saying
that little section there does have the, and that sounds a little Castlevania-y. But I think they're both just inspired by both, or they're both inspired by the same thing. I think is actually what happened.
You know, Charwolf says, "What's up, dogs? Do you guys ever think you're too harsh on Majora's Mask? I remember when I first played it thinking it was just okay, but my recent replay has made me appreciate the game substantially more. Do you all think a replay would change your opinion on the game overall?" I like Majora's Mask.
I don't know if we're too harsh on Majora's Mask. I like Majora's Mask quite a bit.
I think I say that I used to not, and it was the 3DS version that turned me around. And part of my problem too, you know, and gosh, we were talking about what Dead Rising has this thing too, where it used to be that I would see these kind of quote unquote time limits, and I would just kind of work myself up about it. It kind of takes a while to me to, I don't know, grow up and realize that it's actually not that big a deal. It's just a mechanic in the game. Just interact with it like one. But no, I like Majora's Mask. I mean, I'm not like, you know, somebody who has it in like their top 3 Zelda games like some people do, right? It's not kind of my Zelda. I think I'd still think of Wind Waker in that position for me. But if I seem too harsh on Majora's Mask, I don't mean to be. I think it's a very good game, and I think it's a game that deserves to be appreciated.
Yeah, same. I played it when it came out, and I really liked it at the time. And then I didn't play it much until the 3DS version. I don't think I played through the whole thing when the 3DS version came out, but definitely went back in there and was like, no, this is still really good. I like Majora's Mask a lot.
All right, Jeff, we have a few more letters from the mailbag here. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll get to the rest of them?
Sounds good. Wow, you timed that perfectly with the YouTube automatically splicing in ads.
Oh,
About that?
he's in tune with the ad bot.
Uh-huh.
No.
Oh shit!
I'm good. whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so you can. Yep.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm ready. And we're back. We've got more letters here from the mailbag. Tommy Pencil says, "Why did Grubb and Jan spend $4 million each on a Borderlands movie ticket?"
Yeah, listen, I want another parlay for a different hockey league that's still happening. So I just figured I'd burn some money and help Randy out.
Octo says, "Now that bad video game adaptations are back on the menu, what is your nightmare combo for a beautiful trash fire? Square Enix presents Ron Howard's for Spoken."
Yeah, I want a realistic Donald Duck going quackers.
There you go.
Yeah, photorealistic though, and kind of like what's the George Lucas Duck movie? Howard the Duck.
Oh, Howard the Duck. Yeah.
Get that team back together and make a Donald Duck going quackers.
What popular, attractive actress are going to awkwardly insert into a suggested sex scene with the duck this time?
Sydney Sweeney. Why are you even asking?
Okay, incredible. Zack Snyder doing a God of War sounds like that would be real rough for me. I would not
Holy
enjoy
shit, that would suck, Mike. Why even say that? I get that's the question,
realistic.
but that's
make
an
me
inside
happen.
thought. Like, no, I cannot handle that. That would suck.
We'd all have a bad time with that, huh?
Holy shit.
Screaming Man says, "What is your favorite full-on video game that's inside another video game as a mini game? Me beating Sega Bass Fishing in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth inspired this question this week. Would you count that island that you liked playing with in Infinite Wealth?
That's pretty close. But that is a feature in a video game, not really a game inside a game. It's close though. Wasn't the original Geometry Wars inside something?
Project Gotham Racing or something?
Yeah, I wanted to say that too. Yes, I think that's right. So it'd probably be that, although I don't know how many times I actually played it inside of there before I just got the real Geometry Wars after that came out.
I guess I'm thinking mini games, Triple Triad or Queen's Blood. I don't know if that really counts in the way that they're bringing it up here. It's funny because I would love the arcade features in the Yakuza games, but I haven't really played a lot of them. But there are absolutely some of those that I would totally go through.
Do the kids know about Bandai Namco, or back then it was just Namco, I think, having the patent on being able to play games during loading screens?
I don't think they know anymore.
Right. The Namco did that for a few games, and then they patented it, so no one else could do it. And then Namco stopped using it. It's like, what the hell, guys? Okay, at least put it in your games.
Oh, Day of the Tentacle did have Maniac Mansion just in that game, which was neat. You had to go to somebody's computer.
That's fun.
You just got to. That was cool. I didn't play through all of it, but that's maybe my favorite example of that.
My one that I really like is Doom inside of Doom 2016. Anytime I'd go through one of those things and be playing the original Doom, that fucking owned.
Next up from Ali Miracle. My job integrated some AI tools that we saw would break a lot of things. Now it's live. Things are breaking. As I sit in a burning train to try to fix it while drinking a liquid death.
Hell yeah.
Anything you boys saw coming a mile away with changes / implementations that have totally broken a system that didn't need it.
Yeah, I mean, some stuff at work occasionally, but it's like try to take the good with the bad, where it's like all corporations are pretty similar. Working with human beings is pretty similar. All the problems you have with people at your job, that happens at corporations across the board, including people that cover video games. And when they get something in their head about this is what's going to save this company, and you're like, well, here, I know all the reasons why that's probably not going to work, but if it sometimes breaks in your favor, you just go along with it anyhow. So, it happens all the time, but mostly it's above my pay grade, so I can only do so much to stop it. It sounds like what you're dealing with exactly.
This is a pretty specific game example, and if Jez is still in chat, he'll know this. But when the World of Warcraft expansion Shadowlands came out, one of the big key features was that there's these 4 covenants, and you could join one of the covenants, and it was like you got very specific cosmetic rewards, and they all had very different vibes in that regard, but you also got different abilities based on which one you joined. And everybody was like, hey, isn't it going to be a problem that people are going to feel forced to join the one that has the quote-unquote best abilities and not the one that they want to for the thematics or the aesthetics? And they're like, no, it won't be a problem. We'll perfectly balance it. As if like anything in MMOs ever is. Yeah, and then it ended up being a giant problem, and everybody was very mad, just like everybody told them it would be. So I think about that a lot. Next one here is from B. He says, hey, dogs, question time. What's your favorite water to drink, and what's your favorite water in video games? Jeff's favorite water is Wave Race 64 water. I'm probably 100%. I'm more of a Wind Waker water guy, though the water in Mario Sunshine also still very, very good.
I watched a video talking about how they made that water look so good, and I think I've watched that like 3 times because I'm just like, I want to see it again. Like they do such a good job of making that water in Mario Sunshine look good.
Yeah. I'm kind of just a faucet water guy. I do like my Fossy water.
Yeah, I mean, I think my top water is when you get to a drinking fountain that is refrigerated. I really like that. So, because it's like if it feels like it's water coming out of the hose, which is also on the Mount Rushmore of water. So, you want to do Mount Rushmore of water real quick? Just faucet clearly is George Washington, but then hose water, refrigerated drinking fountain, and who's our Teddy Roosevelt? Dasani, the Coca-Cola Corporation's Dasani.
Yeah, not too fancy, but it's bottled water. But I like the shape of this weird bottle. It's kind of like it's textured, right?
I agree. It's a pretty good bottle. It's like that's what they got going for him. You did say Fossy water, and then Willow Davis in chat said Fauci water, and now I'm going to think about Fauci water every time I go to get water. So great.
Yeah. Fossy died. People died. Incredible. Next one here is from Joy Z. Says, hello, Mike, 30-hour Minotti and Jeff, 60-hour Grubb. Is it true that Mike is only half the gamer that Jeff is, or is Mike just more efficient?
I think both are true.
Wow. Let's see your Dark Souls playthrough, buddy.
Shit. No, I'm not looking forward. Well, honestly, I have a pretty good feeling that it will go pretty similar because, but I also beat Erdtree recently. So I'm like, if I took those skills in there right now, I'd probably do all right. But
I think bosses are not too bad in pretty much all the like old Dark Souls games.
Mine would be impatience with everything else between. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
also, I don't think Shape's going to put the game on hard mode by accident.
Oh,
that was a Dark Souls 2 problem, and I blame chat for not making me
And
stop.
He undid it by talking to the cat.
Yeah, cat who thought I smelled nice.
Yeah.
Stinky says, Final Fantasy IX was the first game I ever rented. I had no idea what I was getting into. It convinced my father to rent it for me at least a dozen different weekends from a local grocery store. Man, okay, pause. Local grocery store rentals
definitely did that a bunch.
The best.
It was great.
Oh my. That is so wild to me that was in some of the grocery stores, like they went all out. It was like a separate door you had to go through, and it was basically just as good.
Yeah, that was my Kroger. That was my Kroger. Like while I was working there up until a little for a while. And when I was a kid and we had that, I would just spend the entire time walking up and down, looking at different games and different movies and picking shit out. God. The old days were better. Really, it's true.
I remember
my parents were right. I am going to say that.
I remember a giant Eagle. It was called Eagle Video, and the Nintendo 64 section the entire time, because they must have printed it out very early, never changed it. It was always labeled as Ultra 64.
Yeah, that ruled.
Until it shut down.
God,
it was wild.
That's awesome. Man.
Yeah. Anyways, rented it dozen different times from a local grocery store. I was 10 or 11, and it was a wonderful time. What's the first game you remember renting? Okay, interesting.
I know the first game I rented by myself was Tecmo Bowl, and I told that story recently about playing hooky, and then during the school day, walking to the video rental store right next to Farmer Jack's, our grocery store, and getting that and taking home, and the person there being like, "Shouldn't you be in school?" And but as a family before that, no idea. I want to say like what was the Addams Family movie or game that everyone had?
Fester's Quest.
I want to say it's like Fester's Quest, and then I don't know why I rented it, because it's like then there was like 4 copies in my life after that.
Right, yeah. Fester's Quest just like self-propagated.
Yes,
populated.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Propagated, yeah.
Propagated. Yeah, there it is. Gosh, it must have been early. Like the one I always remember is Final Fantasy VI. I had to absolutely have rented games before that, but kind of similar to you, that was a big RPG, and RPGs were still very expensive, especially in the cartridge days.
Oh yeah.
So I rented it a lot, but it was different. It wasn't like kind of like back to back. It was just I'd rent it every 6 months or go and start over from the beginning, get to basically the Opera House, and then have to return it. I remember when Hollywood Video opened here, which was like our main rental store for a long time. Our Blockbuster actually kind of closed after a bit. I remember Maui Mauer, that Donald Duck game, was the first thing we rented from there. We had a place called Videoland too. I specifically remember renting Echo Jr. there, and I very much remember looking at Michael Jordan in Windy City or whatever and deciding against it. Weird things that I remember, Jeff.
Yeah, I remember trying to rent Cabin Boy for months, and it was always rented out. There was one copy on there, and I was a kid. And I'm pretty sure the movies would have been inappropriate. And I still, to this day, have never seen Cabin Boy. But I just remember like, every time going, I remember where it was on the shelf, like over against the wall on the bottom shelf. And I'd go and find it each time, and the tape would never be there. So, yeah.
I think for like millennials like us, it is like kind of like the number one nostalgia thing, the idea of going back to that rental store when they're kind of new, pristine, and they have like the wall of TVs playing those fun montages. Like later on, when it was sad, it would just be employees putting on whatever movie they wanted to watch. But for a while, it was like very like carefully crafted,
curated
montage
experience.
thing.
Yeah, and it was like it was very. It's also something very much ours, because there weren't a lot of video rentals before our lifetime, and now there's fucking zero. So you get the weird one in like Austin, Texas, or something. I'm sure, but whatever.
Very much a 90s and aughts thing. I think that's exactly right. So, yeah, I think it is like one of those things like, if I could just kind of go back one more time to walk through that store, just kind of look around at everything, and then you get your game, maybe your movie, you get some Bunch of Crunch, a popcorn packet, maybe a Coca-Cola. Good times. I had a friend who worked at one of those, too. I feel like that would have been a pretty good gig as far as teenager jobs go, right?
I think so.
Can't be that stressful.
I would have liked to work at a rental store, for sure.
Yeah, the worst thing you probably have to do is call people because their rentals are late, and what are they going to say?
Right, but like no, Blockbuster would just like charge you forever and just keep adding on more money, so like, they didn't care. Like eventually you're going to come back and want another tape, and you owe them $85 or whatever.
Yeah. Will they charge you for not rewinding the tape?
That was I think so.
Maybe for a little bit. But I guess we always rewinded. So rewound.
Yeah, but and I remember like the DVD era was a big part of it too for a while. Anyways,
yeah.
But Be Kind, Rewind, that kind of thing.
What's do you remember the first DVD you rented or anything like that, or I guess first DVD you watched? I don't know.
Oh, I remember the first DVDs we owned. It was like a 4-pack that came with our first DVD player, and it was Liar Liar, The Wedding Singer, Lost in Space, that reboot movie that came out, and I believe Austin Powers. So so we watched those movies a lot. It was super. Austin Powers had like the really well animated DVD menu. It was a lot of fun. It had very good special features and things like that. I think we had The Mask pretty early on too.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what the first one was, but I know The Matrix was very early. So that was an early DVD for a lot of people.
I remember like episode 1 being one of like the last times anybody cared about a VHS watch.
I have the VHS somewhere. It was in my garage, and I think I put it away somewhere. But I've had that like floating around in various vehicles for like 2 decades now.
Remember the like one of the last like box sets of Star Wars VHS before the like the DVD era, and it was like in that silver kind of box and had like the embedded Darth Vader.
You get
was
the
like
gold
so
one
pristine.
that was full screen, the pan and scan, and or you can get the silver one with the letterbox and actually get the full picture and stuff. And I'm like, I got like an even more special version of that was like this big box, and it had like this pewter plaque in it and stuff. I had those. Man, I wonder if I still have that somewhere. That was cool.
So I was at like the Exchange, which sells old video games and movies, and like they had a bunch of those, and it was like $5 each, and I was like, man, that used to be like the Rolls Royce.
Yes, it was.
VHS. This is back then, man. It's just wild.
Yep.
All right. Okay, that was we got nostalgic there for a little bit. Next one here is from Willow Davis, who says, "Hey guys, I went to a retro game store over the weekend and picked up every Wii exclusive Sonic game for cheap. I've never played them, and emulating Wii games doesn't feel the same. That said, what's your favorite poorly reviewed Wii game?"
Oh, I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm like trying to think. They were all pretty. A lot of them were pretty poorly reviewed. I think I would like that weird Soul Calibur action game. Maybe I'll have to find that Soul Calibur Legends.
Right? Yeah.
Or even that bad Castlevania Judgment, the bad Castlevania fighting game. I bet I would like it. I just never actually got those, so I gotta look out for those. I don't know. Like I did get pretty picky with Wii games after a while because I was burned so often. Like because they would do things like, oh, we're making a new Knights. Knights is finally getting a sequel, and I was like, oh my fucking god! And then you're like, it's kind of bad, right?
Yep. I think actually the original Red Steel, which didn't do very well in reviews, or at least in hindsight, people don't like it. I thought it was fine. Now, Red Steel 2 is actually a pretty decent game, but Red Steel 1, I still kind of liked.
I think I had an okay time with Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam, which was also a launch game. It wasn't amazing, but whatever. It was okay.
Man, there's some Wii games. I always want to go back and play Excitebots. That's the one I always want to play the most.
Yeah, I'll have to find Excitebox. There are a few Wii games I do want to collect, and I'm doing it.
And Vanillaware needs to put their games up, because if Muramasa did Muramasa ever get released somewhere else? I'm like want to say now maybe it did.
Yes, there was an HD version of Muramasa on other platforms eventually, I believe. Yes. But yeah, Muramasa is on there. And Vita, there's a Vita version right away. So, man, I watched Good Vibes Gaming, dude. They did a video top 50 Wii games, and I liked it, and it was very good. But they had Xenoblade Chronicles at 1. And look, I know maybe I'm a little bit down on that game compared to most people, but number 1.
Those people are always going to be
over
that way.
Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Xenoblade Chronicles.
I watched that video too, and your game is in there.
What's my
your Blight Club game? It's one of those 50.
My Blight Club game was in the top 50?
Fuck no, Mike. Of course not. No, it's not in top 50 anything.
Sean says that Muramasa is actually still trapped on the Wii and Vita. Thank you, Sean. I was misspoken about an HD version.
Shit. That sucks. Why can't I accept this gift from Tam? Tam got me Titanfall 2 on Steam. I wonder if it's because it's like I have it added as like to my account, but I don't own it. I don't know.
I think I bought that in the last sale because it was very cheap. There's something going on. I wish we were doing Blight Club tomorrow just so I could find out what the game is. But no, Dan had to go to Europe.
I know. Why is he even in Europe? Because he's going right back. What's wrong with this guy?
I forget what he's doing there.
Yeah.
You might know. I don't even know what he's doing.
I know. I
there
forget
right
too.
Now. I forget if it's a secret or what. I don't know. Whatever. That's it for the mailbag, Jeff. Why don't Christian? You want us to take one more break?
Do the 2 super chats.
Yeah, all right. I got some super chats right here. Mikey, is it okay if I read these super chats?
Yes, I allow it.
Thank you. Let's see. Is there 2 or is there? Let's see. Do we read this one?
I don't know if.
I think there's more than that. Let's see here. Smooth Life. No, I think we're going all the way up to Jez Z or Jez C.
I think we have quite a few.
Yeah, my Gen Z cousin showed me a million nostalgic Wii videos for her this last week. I tried to explain to her how much better Xbox is than Nintendo, but she just won't accept the truth, shaking my head. Sorry,
if you can't win them when it's Wii versus 360, then you're never going to win them over.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. Although, give me some of those picks for Wii. I'm curious to see what she liked. Smooth Life says, with the Switch 2 potentially pushed to late 2025, would it now be the perfect time for Nintendo to drop Pokemon RBY?
Red, blue, yellow
on the Switch. That could easily tide me over for a few months, just not on Nintendo Switch Online. I don't know. They probably have bigger plans for that sort of thing going forward. I don't know.
It's awkward. Again. Yeah, because they won't just do it on NSO. And I think they I forget if it's a mandate or what, but they want people to be able to move like the Pokemon off of that game. And so that was a whole kind of thing they had to do when it came out on 3DS. And I just don't know if they're going to bother with that much infrastructure again.
Also, yeah, if they did a physical collector's edition, they could charge you $60 or more for each one of those. Let's see here. Jacob Heiner says, I've been replaying all the Zelda games in celebration of the next game. They are all good, but I can't help feel Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom are more fun to play and make the older games feel not as fun as I remember. I think it's going to happen to some of them. Some of those older games are still going to hold up no problem, I think. You just got to go in with the different expectations. But I do think they found their footing in terms of just nonstop joy when playing Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so I get what you're going for.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. Like, and if you really, really, really liked Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and a lot of people did, like, I can understand the kind of rigidness of the older games maybe grating you a little bit, and, especially some of the talkier bits that we were getting in those games kind of feeling a little oppressive. But, I mean, I think I still enjoy both styles a lot.
Yep. Zach B. writes, Mike, do you think there's a chance Villains World opens before the heat death of the universe?
This is talking about the Villains Land that Disney is building in Magic Kingdom. It's a coin flip.
All right.
I'll flip it right now. Where's my fucking yen piece? Shit. Never mind. I'm going to flip this. I'm ill
Can't find his yen piece. I told you to keep your gamer station clean.
Where's my fucking yen? I found it. Okay, here we go. What are the pieces here? Okay. Grain. The universe ends first. Japanese letters. Villains Land comes out. It is Japanese letters. We're gonna be fine.
All right. Let's see here. Simon Esty says, I got the final issue of Game Informer in the mail yesterday. I did too. The worst part is reading it and knowing the talented people had no idea what was coming. Yes, it is. It's very frustrating that they weren't given the time to do a so long issue. They really should have known what was coming, had a chance to brace themselves in their lives and in their work. A fucking joke of a company, GameStop. Willow Davis says, who do you marry in Stardew Valley and why?
I married Haley because she was hot.
I do not marry anyone. In fact, I don't talk to people in that game whenever I can because I find the land plenty fertile enough. I don't need anybody in my life other than that.
That sounds like you fucking the ground, Grubb, when you said it like
Does
that.
it?
Yeah.
Kinda.
The green team. Remember green team? I tell you what, I did buy Fields of Mystery. It seems like people seem to really like it, and I tell you what, the waifus might be even more impressive than Stardew Valley. I'm just gonna say it. It got some good pixel art here. There's some waifus.
That's the Sarah Podzorsky effect. She would never let you play a game that didn't have great waifus and husbandos. Let's see here. The Uncharted Wolf says, you guys talking about Majora's Mask 3D reminded me, can we get a port of that and Ocarina of Time 3D on Switch? Too many games are stuck on 3DS. I would like that, of course.
I would love it. I wonder if they would feel like, oh, this isn't going to like meet people's expectations for what this should look like. I'd be fine just getting them. I thought that those were both fantastic ports. In some ways, they're even more impressive than like the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker ports in terms of how much is actually improved and how many quality of life things we did get. I tell you what, there's a reason to keep my 3DS around. If I wanted to play Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, I definitely want to play those versions. I don't really see myself going back to the N64 release.
Yep, same. We'll see. I think that there is a strong chance that in the next 10 years, Nintendo remakes Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Oh, they're definitely going to remake it again at some point. It's Ocarina of Time.
Yep, exactly. So we'll see. And in that case, they might hold off on doing anything else with that. That does it for the Super Chats once again.
Well, we just have to talk about what we've been playing. Christian, last chance for us to take a break if you want us to, or should we just take it home? Break now. Take a break now before we bring it home. If you want to get a Super Chat in, you still have a little bit of time, but we're going to take a break.
All right. We can just go back.
Okay. Yep.
I think that's that's a sentence. All right.
All right, Jeff, we're back. You've been playing any Nintendo games?
Yeah, it's rough. I'm I'm not trying to do the braggart thing, but I'm playing a lot of stuff I can't talk about yet. Like there's a lot of stuff coming in right now that is keeping us busy. I could I did talk about Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, but that I don't think that's on Switch. But I did play some Doom and Doom 2. Doom plus Doom 2, that Night Dive remaster of those two games that is available everywhere, including the Switch, I think. And it is very good. They did a really good job on that. It's to the point where it's like, man, it kind of feels fresh in some ways again. I don't. A big part of that is the awesome remixed music is just killing me. I love it. It's so good. But those games are just very playable. I enjoyed them quite a bit, and I'm going to try to stick with it and maybe see some credits on some of these campaigns, some of the episodes, and then I think I'm gonna jump to that John Romero Sigil episode and play that. I'm looking forward to that. But they just nailed it. They did a really good job with this package.
I really liked playing Doom 64 when that was on Switch. So I think I actually would like to pick these up on Switch specifically. Be a fun way to play. There's also it's funny, but I still remember that red cartridge Doom on Super Nintendo. So part of me is like, wow, this is what Doom is like on a Nintendo console now.
Did you hear what the guys said about that? Because there was news about that they are re-releasing that with I don't know exactly how this works, but with that new Super FX3 tech that's happened recently, and so it's going to run better. It's going to support Rumble, and they're releasing a Rumble controller for the Super Nintendo to go along with this.
What do you mean?
Incredible! It's really, really awesome. And so it's this is going to be the way to play Doom on Super Nintendo. And apparently they're working with the guy that did all the work originally, because he's like, yeah, I would love to go back and keep working on that. So a lot of cool stuff happening. That was limited run doing that, so very cool stuff.
I just love Doom ports of that era because they're always real interesting, and the quality is all over the place. It's not just about how good the hardware is, because a lot of them were made in a month by one person or something like that.
Yep.
So that's pretty fun. I was playing Mega Man X5, very specifically that one, which one I had not played a whole lot before. I wish I'd like it more. It's just, it definitely is when the series kind of started falling apart a bit. It's
the way you described it, it sounded like Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, like the 4th or 5th Planet of the Apes movies, where they're like, hey, the numbers are going down, so we're going to give you less money for the next movie, and then that made even less money, and it just kind of keeps dwindling from there, like a death spiral. It sounds like that's kind of where X5 started at, or something.
Well, it's fine. Well, you and Sean were talking to the Tomba people.
Yeah, that's who told us about the Doom thing, yes.
Oh, okay. And they talked too about how PlayStation at that time, they were straight up hostile to people playing 2D games on their platform. You could do it, but they were mean to even Capcom about it, and they would do things like not really promote Mega Man 8 or Mega Man X4, so they probably didn't sell as well as they could have. So yeah, the budget for X5 is really slash. It's not as pretty a game. It's not as presentation, way worse, way cheaper cutscenes, things like that. And it also just has characters talking to you over a radio, which isn't voiced in this one. It's just, stop the game. Here's a text dialogue just telling you, you have to jump over a pit. Yes, of course, I could have figured that out. So it's really annoying in some ways. It's still Mega Man X. It's still fun. I still enjoyed doing it, but it's rough. And X6 is considered worse by most people, and I haven't played that one in a while either. I might try that. X7 is really universally hated.
Yes, yeah.
And then X8's supposed to be a bit of a rebound. So maybe I'll play through this back half again. It has been a long time, so I have better formed opinions about them, I suppose.
Yeah, I would be interested to hear this process you go through with these games again, just to kind of see where they stand now in 2024. And I'm like, can I talk? I can't talk about that game. I'll just say that I still feel that Metroidvanias is cheating. It's it's becoming a problem where I can't tell if a game is good or it's just a Metroidvania. It's getting me. I can't tell anymore. I know when it's a really good Metroidvania, but when I play a Metroidvania, I'm like, yeah, I'm just enjoying this. I can't tell if it's yep, that's just the genre and that's what it does to my brain. But yeah, I'll be able to talk about some of that stuff here pretty soon.
All right. I think that's that. I think we've caught up on Super Chats. I think we're pretty much ready to get out of here, sir.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit the button then. There we go.
Hit that button. All right. Thank you so much, everybody listening. Last Nintendogs will be back on Thursday with Game as a Size. You're going to have to figure out what you're doing next week while I'm in Europe.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
There's new Columbros, by the way. Sorry, Chef.
No,
Yeah,
no,
New
say it.
Columbus for supporters. Yes, it's up there on the Patreon and on the Discord.
It was a good episode, everybody. You should listen to it if you are a member of the Patreon. And if you're not, we have all the previous episodes out in its own feed for the public. You can find that wherever you listen to podcasts.
Awesome, fantastic. What's going on in Giant Bomb?
Giant Bomb, tomorrow we will have a Delight Club. Did we decide what we're doing for that, Mike? I think we did, but I forget.
Maybe Daikatana Game Boy Color.
That's right.
Maybe Doom 1 and 2.
Yeah, we'll hang out, we'll play some games. We'll do a John Romero retrospective, and I don't know how involved he was with Daikatana and Game Boy Color. Probably not a lot.
I think he told him that he wanted it to kind of be like, top-down Zelda thing.
Right.
So there's something there.
Well, we'll check that out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, you beat it. Yeah, I definitely beat it this time.
I'll beat it first. We support beating it.
But of course, going into slots. You laugh every time with that noise.
It's really good.
People shouldn't drink water.